And today I want to talk about the risks and rewards of investing in the Brazilian real estate market. I'm going to give you 10 things which I think could be potentially risky in this market. I'll give you some good advantages and my conclusion at the end. So, number one, the highest risk I think here is currency risk. So if you look at the US dollar against the Brazilian real over the last 5 years, the US dollar has appreciated a lot. So in December 2016, one US dollar was 3.27 real. But as of 1st of December 2021, one US dollar buys you 5.68 real. So this shows that there is a lot of currency risk and investing in Brazil. Now, many of you may say, well, this could be a good time to buy. But I also did a video about a year ago on Turkey where the US dollar had appreciated a lot against the Turkish lira. So a lot of people thought it was a good time to buy. But recently, the Turkish lira collapsed even more. So there is still currency risk. Number two, I want to talk about the rising unemployment. Now, in 2011, it was around 7%, but by 2019, this had reached almost 12%. And in 2020, due to the pandemic, it had gone up to 13.7%. At the moment, it's actually over 14%. And this is the figure as of May 2021. And what's even worse is that youth unemployment is over 25%. Number three, I want to talk about the poor GDP growth. So if we take the period 2014 to 2019, the GDP growth ranged from minus 3.55% to 1.75%. And this is hardly inspiring for foreign investors. And in 2020, GDP actually fell by 4%, but of course, this was mainly due to the pandemic. Number four, I want to talk about the total government debt to GDP. So in 2011, it was 51%, but by 2020, this had shot up to 89%. Now, fortunately, actually this year, it has fallen as of July 2021 to 84%. But nevertheless, over the last few years, government debt has been rising, and this again is a bad sign for foreign investors. Number five, I also want to talk about something quite important, and it's the high inflation. And it is actually rampant at the moment at 10.67% as of October 2021. And this is causing serious issues in Brazil. Indeed, among G20 countries, it only ranks behind Turkey and Argentina, which is a basket case. According to FIPISA, the house price index in Brazil, although prices year to date, July 2021, rose by just over 5%, in real terms, and this is due to inflation as we've been talking about, they actually fell by just over 3.5%. And if we take just a couple of cities, in Sao Paulo, property prices rose by 4.5%, but in real terms, adjusted for inflation, they fell by 4.2%. In Rio, prices rose by 2.6%, but in real terms, they fell by nearly 6%. So for both these cities was the best performance over 5 years. So it does show that the market here has not been doing very well at all. And it is though important to note performance across the country has not been uniform. So let's take the capital Brasilia, where property prices actually here rose by more than 10%, and Manaus, they rose by actually more than 14%. So you've got to be careful when looking at the figures for the country as a whole. It does vary from region to region and city to city. I want to add to this as well, interest rates have actually shot up due to inflationary pressures. And in December 2020, interest rates in Brazil were only 2%, but as of December 2021, they have shot up to 9.25%, another indicator of a risk here of investing in the Brazilian real estate market. Number six, I want to talk about the local affordability. Now, average salaries in Brazil are not very high. We are talking about well under $1,000 per month net. And this is also the case in both Rio and Sao Paulo, although in Sao Paulo salaries are higher than Rio. And you must take this into consideration when you're buying property, because prices are not that low. So if we take Rio in parts like Ipanema and Leblon, you are easily talking about 4,000 US dollars per square meter plus. And even Copacabana, you're talking over 3,000 US dollars per meter plus as well. Although if you look at Flamingo, you could get something in Flamingo region of Rio for about 2,500 to 3,000 US dollars per square meter. In Sao Paulo, it's unfortunately is a similar story. So in a nice area like Villa Nova Conceição, you will easily pay 4,500 US dollars per square meter for an apartment. So I want to look now at point 7, which is rental yields. Again, this does vary from region to region, city to city, but if we concentrate on the main two cities in Brazil, in Rio, unfortunately, the gross rental yields are not great. They're typically around 3 to 4%, but in Sao Paulo, they actually are higher at 5 to 6%. Number 8, let's talk about taxes. So, although Brazil is not a very high taxation country, it cannot be said that it's a low taxation country either. So let's discuss a few of the taxes. Capital gains tax is 15%, although you can deduct for acquisition and sale costs. Rental income tax is also 15%, but it's on the gross rather than the net. Property taxes are not particularly low, so in Sao Paulo and Rio, expect to pay 1% on residential properties based on the assessed value. For commercial properties, it is actually 1.5% in Sao Paulo and 2.5% in Rio. Now, also, Brazil does have tax on inheritance and gifts that can reach 8%, although there are no wealth taxes. I just want to quickly add the buy-sell costs in Brazil for buying and selling property range from 10% to 13%. Number 9, also very important, I want to talk about the high poverty rate and inequality. So Brazil is actually the least equitable society in the whole of South America. And finally, number 10, there is corruption and political turmoil. So Brazil is going through a troubled time with its leader Bolsonaro. However, potentially you could see the return of Lula da Silva, because they are going to have elections next year. And hopefully this could herald a new dawn for the country. So I've actually given you 10 reasons, perhaps maybe not to invest in the Brazilian real estate market. But there are some advantages. So we said the currency, the real is low against a basket of currencies. So it could be a good time to buy. Remember too, second reason, this market is the biggest in South America. It is by far the biggest market you can invest in Latin America. So there are many cities and areas to choose from. Number 3, I also want to say Brazil is more pro-landlord than most countries, so that's good too. Number 4, let's take population growth. So taking the country as a whole, in 2010, it was 195 million. In 2021, it's actually around 214 million, so good growth there. And it is expected to grow in 2035 to 227 million and 2050 to 230 million. So this is good for the real estate market. And number 5, finally, I do want to say Brazil is still a developing country, and you are beginning to see an emerging middle class, and I think this should help for future growth in the property market. So what's the conclusion here? Look, I am sure if you invest in this market, it is possible to make some money here. I think it's going to be risky, and I think I may do some videos on other areas of Brazil in the future, so it really depends where you invest as well, Rio, Sao Paulo, or other areas. Anyway, that's it for today. Please let me know your thoughts. Please click the like button, do comment, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Thank you and bye.